What's going on, YouTube? This is Fish Streak Phil. Wanted to give you an overview of my Evo 13.5 after 7 weeks, no water change. Pardon the shaking, I'm kind of doing feeding at the moment. 7 weeks, no water change. Wanted to tell you some of the things I saw, things I experienced. One of the main things I noticed is I have an auto top-off system, so when I checked my salinity the other day, it dropped down to, and this is prior to the water change, it dropped down, my salinity dropped down to 1.21, which we all know that's not something we really want to do. We want to keep it at 1.23 to 2.5 or 6, whatever. Some of us like to set it at, but I typically like to keep it around 2.3, 2.4. But you know, being that it probably happened over time, over the period of 7 weeks, nothing really happened. Perhaps the only coral that was affected was my pink bird's nest coral, which is the one right there in the back. But I can't say that that's the salinity was the issue outright, because my hydro reflector at one point got stuck and was flowing in the same direction for an amount of time. I have no idea how long it was stuck that way, because you could say it's kind of rotating slow now, so there's no way of really noting. I think I'm gonna have to replace that all together. I had 2 of them, took one out or put the other one in, and still, yeah, no luck on that. I might have to change that up altogether. But anyway, the other thing I noticed is on the side here I had some bryopsis, and it's starting to grow in a little bit, I noticed today, but at the base of these daisy polyps, right in here, there's some bryopsis that was growing. I was getting ready to treat them, but I didn't. The shado in the back, in the refugium, actually, I think it was outcompeting it, along with all the other algae in the tank. Basically, it was outcompeting the nuisance algae, because this whole compartment was jam-packed with shado. I actually cut it in half, and I think now I should, if I'm correct in my assumption, that perhaps it should start to grow in a little bit more until that shado grows back in, and start to outcompete it again, once again, for nutrients and stuff like that. My Rainford Goby died, and not sure at one point in time, but my cleanup job did its job and never found any traces of it. So I guess that's a good thing. But that's what kept my gravel clean, so he's got to be replaced. And if you notice, I have a couple of corals that are missing, like the Duncans that I had in this corner, the torch that I had back here. They all went to the Seaview 40, the Cobalt Aquatic Seaview 40. I'm also going to be moving a couple other corals in there, and as well as my clowns are going into there, as well as this gigantic shrimp, cleaner shrimp that looks like Godzilla in this thing. But yeah. But I mean, the corals are looking fabulous, man. Like 7 weeks, no water change. I'm gonna be my scheduling is gonna be about every 2 to 3 weeks. I'll do a water change. But before we get there, until I get my salinity back up, I'm gonna be doing water changes every week to slowly raise it back up. And when I put the water in there, I probably set it a little higher to kind of balance it out. So until that happens, I'll be doing water changes weekly. So I bring my salinity back up. Once it gets there, I'm gonna push it out to 2 weeks, and then finally 3 weeks, and leave it there and set it kind of at a 3 week period. But outside of that, I mean, it can definitely be done, just like any other. Like people with large tanks, you know, some people don't do water changes at all. They just maintain their, water level and quality, and it's all about nutrient removal and addition. I dose for my corals through Kent 2-part, Kent magnesium, and the aquavitral fuel, which is the trace elements for the corals. And I try not to feed too heavily, but you know, sometimes we're better than others. You know, I also feed the corals from time to time, so I mean, I definitely get a lot of nutrients in there. But yeah, you know, this is the quick update on this tank. Just to kind of give you a little preview of my Cobalt Aquatics Seaview 40. Boom, there it is. Just a quick preview, but we'll be getting into that. Got a couple of fish in there. We'll be moving a couple over from this tank. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick update. Today's Monday. Anyway, do your research, try things out, and see what happens. Later, y'all.